Okay, so do you want to start off by like introducing yourself to anyone who might not know who you are?
So on everything I go by Michael Motorcycle. I make music on the internet. I make stupid TikToks. That's pretty much about it. I
Nice.
I go on Michael Motorcycle. I go by Michael Motorcycle. Everything if you want to check me out. But yeah.
Sick, sick. Let's hop into some questions then. So like first question I have down is like what are your thoughts and your like approach to marketing? Because you talk about TikTok then and like a lot of your album covers and like song titles can be kind of goofy and then you listen to the music and it's like the most romantic stuff in the world.
It's very romantic, very sad, very emotional stuff. But
Yeah.
my approach to marketing, you nailed it pretty much. Just kind of the contrast between very serious stuff and stuff that a lot of people that are not very accustomed to talking about, which are mostly like emotions or love, stuff like that. Being very vulnerable with my audience
Yeah.
and having just the most rancid covers possible. So I think it's very I like the contrast a lot. It
Yeah.
it's how I would describe a lot of my art is just the contrast between serious or goofy, you know.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting because that's kind of like that's true to life then I guess because you're talking about how your music is very emotional stuff and then like day to day you will have most people are like silly and goofy and then
Oh
you
yeah, I'm
you go past the album cover, you go past the surface level stuff and then you get to the real emotional things of like
of
romance and
course.
sadness. Yeah.
Yeah. I try and not be too serious. There's a lot of seriousness and kind of like people just being too serious in music and art in general.
Yeah.
And taking it too seriously, I think that's where very constricted and restricted art is created when you don't give yourself the liberties and freedoms to be goofy or be normal, whatever. But yeah, album covers are very questionable at times, but they let me express myself and what I want to portray as
So,
this character, Michael Motorcycle.
my God. So do you design them yourself then or do you have like does someone else?
I'm completely independent. Yeah,
Yeah.
I draw. I That's why when I say I make art, it's more or less everything. Like a lot of people just categorize art as drawing or painting, but I categorize art as like my music, everything that I create. So
Nice.
yeah, I
Nice.
create all my album art. I produce all my beats, which a lot of people don't know. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I'm completely independent. I'm proud to be.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's the I did actually have a question linked to that about you saying you produce your own beats. So do you produce, mix, master, you do everything yourself independently, or do you have like do you have other people in the industry that you work with to help with like mixing and mastering and producing, or is it all just you?
Like maybe two of my songs have definitely been helped with my buddy Prod Destin.
Okay.
He's worked with people like One and Only and trying to think Lil Bubblegum and a lot of aesthetic rappers or that kind of scene. He's worked with a lot of them and he saw me and he was like, we should work sometime. Then so Say You Swear was made by me and him. That's a more recent album, a more recent track that we've made. One of the older ones that we've made have been Are You Gonna Eat That and Homesick, which has been on One and Only's album,
Mm.
Homesick. But did terribly, but it's fine.
I mean, it's got a million streams. I mean, you can't ask for too much. Like a million's
That's
pretty
true.
good,
That's true. That's true.
pretty
That's
good,
true.
especially for an independent artist. Like
Yeah.
a million's pretty decent.
Me and him just have a joke. It's just like me and Nathan, or One and Only, have this joke. It's just like it did the worst of the album. And yeah. But yeah, no, it's not that I'm saying, oh, millions nothing, but I'm very proud of that, seeing how far I've come as an artist and um can't wait to do more numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good mindset and approach to it. Sorry, because to me, because I've listened to One and Only's album about a song because I found you before I found them, and
Yeah.
so I listened to you and I was like, oh,
That's surprising. That is
yeah,
wild.
I found you through oh, what was it? It was for let me have a look. Let me have a look.
Was it misogynist?
It wasn't misogynist, no.
Okay.
Weirdly, it was through. So I was listening to like just some random song on Spotify, and it just like that Spotify radio when it plays like random different similar songs, and you just came up, and I clicked like, oh, I like this. I went on there, I just listened to everything by you, and now I listen to you like daily.
I
For it.
appreciate that. I really do appreciate that.
It was it was one day. That's all
One
I've had.
day, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one that a lot of people found me off of. Yeah.
And then Homer was my favorite song for a while. And then Brian's Armpits.
Oh, okay, okay, cool, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Stupid Thoughts About You, or that one. That's my
Yeah,
favorite one. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
that's definitely a more experimental kind of profile.
Yeah.
His armpits one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How does that happen from Michael Motorcycle to Brian's Armpits then? What's that
Brian's armpits actually came first.
yeah.
Yeah, Brian's armpits came first. That was me getting recommended of this guy. His name's Brian Charnley. He was like an artist that unfortunately passed away due to suicide, and um, his story was very captivating to me because it was he was like really good artist, but he had a lot of like internal problems, and so I just wanted to take his name and kind of pay homage to him in that sense. And that's why if you look at a lot of his work, a lot of his work is very crazy. And I'd like to say Brian's Armpits is a lot more experimental than Michael Motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went from Brian's Armpits. I've changed so many times, dude. Like first I was on a lot of Lil Darky type deal. If you know who
Yeah.
Lil Darky is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went by Pedo Killer. I also went by Minuscule Dark Teen because it was kind of like a playoff of Lil Darky.
Yeah.
Uh, then I deleted both those shits because they're ass, and then
Yeah.
Found Brian's Armpits that did start doing really well, and then I don't know. I feel like they've been periods of my life. Like each account or each kind of persona has been like a period of my life. I think Michael Motorcycle is gonna stay for a while. So.
Yeah. It's the would you say Michael Motorcycle was the most successful then of all the different
Oh yes, for sure, for sure.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because you can definitely see there's a lot of stylistic crossover obviously between Brian and Michael.
Mm.
And like you said, like Brian's more experimental than Michael. Michael's a lot more like love songs. Brian's a lot like still love songs, but like out there a bit more. But
It's a little bit more experimental, more lo-fi, I'd say. A lot of the Michael Motorcycle tracks are very polished, and
yeah,
I need to get back to posting on Brian's Armpits, just kind of like whatever I feel like, even
yeah,
if it's unpolished tracks.
yeah. I'm sure fans would appreciate that a lot.
Oh, you don't understand, man. Bring back Brian's Armpits. I'm like, Michael Motorcycle right now. I love the fans. I love the fan base that I've created for sure. Or
Yeah,
that genuinely we've created. Like a lot of the fans are very much just like me, which is something that I could like. It's great. It's great. Like, um, very kind people. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's what you kind of want to strive for, I guess, isn't it? With an audience, you want someone who similar sense of humor and stuff like that, but still, doesn't take the piss. Still,
Yes. Yes.
still kind and like appreciates your art
Yeah.
process, stuff like that.
Um, I think people when they see me finally like post on my story, hey, thank you guys for. I'm glad that they don't clown on me for that, and they're like, oh, we always see this, and I've had a few people saying like, hey, we've always seen this goofy side of you, and it's all support, like it's all support from them, whether
Yeah.
I'm being goofy, whether I'm being serious, it's
Mhm.
great. They're very good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. So you mentioned Little Darky, which I actually have a note down because we talked at the start about marketing and stuff like that. And Little Darky, I guess, has a similar approach to marketing to you, and the fact that you have like the silly, goofy album like titles and covers, and then this like the fun, like not fun, the emotional topics. And then he has the sort of similar thing of like you have the very like politically extreme album cover and titles, then you listen to it and it's like super left wing or super like progressive topics, or sometimes just like a love song. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
do you think there's your approach to how you release music is influenced by him then? Because you said you had those early influences.
I think it's very influenced by, I would say it used to be influenced by him a lot. Now
Mm,
I'm definitely more influenced by indie artists such as like Mac DeMarco. He's super goofy. I
yeah.
love him so much. Like he's my top artist of all time for sure, for sure. Mac DeMarco, artists like Tyler the Creator. I love his just wacky stuff. Yeah, not as much Lil Darky anymore. Now I just look like him, and people hit me up on TikTok. Aren't you the guy that did the Lil Darky stuff? Bring it back, bring it back. And I'm like, bro. Or yeah, man. They got some funny ones though. It's like oh man, just people being funny on TikTok. It's just yeah. Relating me to Lil Darky is I don't know. They've gotten really creative. I like it.
So do you think you have a target audience then that you've tried to reach out for? Like you said you enjoy your audience, but did you try and engineer to get to that point, or are you just happy that it's happened to get there?
I am the worst person to talk to about that, if I'm being honest, and that's my answer. It's more or less like I started making music in high school, so about like 2 years ago, and started really doing it like seriously 1 year ago probably. And from that point on, like genuinely, I haven't done any of the kind of like trying to target certain audiences. I really haven't done anything like I haven't worked as hard as I could, like
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about that more or less. Like, what do I want my target audience to be? I kind of just put music out, and if people stuck with it, they stuck with it. Or if it latched onto them, it's like that's great. Because it means I get the most kind of um the most realistic audience. I get the audience that kind of resonates with me the most.
Yeah.
Um and you can't get that with all the trends and like all that, and not being yourself more or less. You got to not have the facade to kind of grow an audience that you are proud to have.
Mhm.
That's why a lot of artists that blow up, they end up getting an like an audience that they really don't like, and then they're like, why don't I like this audience? Why are these such bad people? And I'm like, well, you weren't being yourself. You weren't being yourself. You were posting a lot of trends. You weren't
Yeah.
being true to who you are as a person. So how can you expect all the people that are following your music to be how you want them to be? And that's why I just from the start, man, like it started from people from my hometown listening to me, which was fucking terrible. But I would post videos of myself doing like stupid TikToks and like dancing to my own songs, and people loved it surprisingly from
Yeah.
my hometown. They were just like they supported me a lot, and then it grew from there. I started getting more traction on TikTok, and the audience, like you were asking, the audience started to grow from just kind of like people that I knew to like I think the first song that I posted that went viral was a song I deleted. It was kind of like a misogynist type deal. It was a little darky song,
Okay.
and then people just saw it and they were like, "Whoa," like I'm not saying he's better than Lil Darky, but a lot of people were being like, "Oh shit, it's the next Lil Darky." But in itself was so stupid because he had just started blowing up. So people being like, "Oh, there's the like new Lil Darky," is like that's the stupidest shit. But I mean,
Yeah.
I am where I am now because of that. So yeah, can't be too mad at it.
I mean, it's not something you kind of it's not a bad person to be compared to, I suppose. It's quite
No,
a
no, no, no.
yeah.
Yeah,
Especially in the TikTok sphere. Like you said, like you kind of gained your audience through TikTok. So to be complimented by saying you're the next little darky, who's like obviously he got big through TikTok, but he did it without it being like pop music or like TikTok music. It was very much his own sort of like thing.
scream rap and
Yeah,
trap metal. And, yeah.
trap metal. Yeah. Do you listen to that sort of stuff still? Then do you listen to like Lil Darky? Do you listen to like trap metal stuff like that?
I
Or
listen to X, like old
yeah,
X. I mean, I want to go. I try and go back to where it all started. Like
mm,
I don't think. I think going back to that's why I don't listen to my music often either. Is like I listen to Mac DeMarco because that's where I get my inspiration from. Like I listen to Puma Blue, which is another artist. He comes from the UK as well. He does more neo soul stuff, and in general, I don't listen to a lot of music. Like sit down and listen to it. I just kind of have it as background because, yeah. But you were asking, I don't listen. I don't listen to that much trap metal anymore.
no,
And if I do, I listen to X because that's like genuinely where it all started. Like,
yeah,
yeah, X was crazy.
yeah, it was, yeah. That's interesting. That is interesting. It really shows like an evolution in your sound and I guess your approach to music then to go from like obviously when you listen to music, it isn't trap metal and stuff like that. You can see that you can still see the influences with
Influences. Yeah.
yeah. Your approach is both like to like the marketing side of it and also just like your sound early on and then you listen to the stuff now which like if you said like this guy's influenced by X and Lil Darky and you played what's played now you'd think he's not. Like I know
Yeah.
X and Lil Darky obviously have the acoustic emotional music but their like typical music isn't that, it's the
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
I need to start making more music like that. I've been planning on releasing a little album of going back to that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It gets very repetitive. I've
Mhm.
listened to a lot of artists, like especially rappers, like telling me pretty big rappers telling me that I kind of want to go into what you're doing. Like they want to go into the more because they say that the rapping gets really repetitive,
Yeah.
super repetitive. And there's just a lot more that you can do when you're versatile, more or less. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of artists now that are very versatile. Like um there's one kid that's coming up recently. What's his name? I'll have to search it up, but yeah. There's a kid that I've been looking at recently and I've been wanting to make music with because he seems to have the same kind of mindset where versatility is really everything. Like being able to make because I feel like if you're just making one genre, it used to work a lot. If you're just making one genre, one kind of style, one kind of sound, it used to work a lot. But I found a lot of success in being versatile and being able to create one day make misogynist and the next day make one day.
Yeah.
Also, it's so fun. It's so much more fun as an artist to be able to not be grounded by a certain genre, a certain vibe. Um, yeah.
No, you're. I think you're bang on there because, like, I mean, it all kind of sort of started with X, I guess, with that sort of stuff. With that's what he was like known for was the fact that he could do everything. Like, he could do like Spanish music, he could do trap metal, he could do acoustic music, he could do the whole thing. And definitely, like, since him, like everyone or more people try and strive for that range. Like, Lil Yachty released a psych rock album this year. Like,
I saw that. Yeah, that was.
yeah, and like I don't know if do you know Kill Switch, who I guess
Mm,
is like he has,
which is crazy as well.
yeah, most of his music's trap metal, and then like you'll hear like
Waste. Or,
yeah,
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 some really soft stuff.
the preferred approach nowadays, and like producer albums are becoming more popular now because of that. Like Metro Boomin's like doing massive numbers now, and just because he has loads of different artists doing loads of different genres throughout a whole album, people don't always just want to listen to the same genre of music over and over and over again for an album because it's
Yes.
get repetitive and boring. You want that range.
Yeah. Especially when you released the Spider Verse. He released the
Yeah.
Spider Verse. Or he produced it. He produced the entire Spider Verse score.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. There's I saw a stat this year that he's now the third most streamed hip hop artist ever, or something like that. It's like
I yeah.
um, Drake, Eminem, and then him or something like that. It's crazy.
It's really good because it's giving a lot of incentive for producers to start
Mm.
like because for a long time, like being a producer, you kind of feel like you're in the background,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that definitely gives a lot of incentive for producers to being like, yeah, I can like make my own kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially seeing that, I didn't know that. That's cool. The music industry as a whole has been becoming more of like, I think I use the WWE kind of aspect where it's just for show now. It's like no one cares what you sound like. It's just kind of like what you look like or what, like it's very consumer based. It's
Hmm.
not because that makes sense. Like Dr. Dre was always before M, like because
Yeah.
Dr. Dre made all the tracks,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think there needs to be a balance because I think at a certain point, if you're doing something to the caliber of like Kendrick Lamar, which is also huge influence,
Yeah.
like my first favorite artist, Kendrick Lamar. Um, like I don't know how many times I've played All Right. Like that's
Yeah.
he's a crazy lyricist and he's the one rapper that I think deserves to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a very fucking hot take, but that's how I feel personally. And I know people are gonna come with stats and shit, but God, he's a good rapper.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Like, there isn't a single breath or like thing that he doesn't kind of technically think of in his head.
Mm.
Everything that he puts on the mic or records into the mic is well thought out. Like he's crazy.
Yeah. I think that you're right. It's like every single element throughout the song is every word has something to every word has a meaning. It either threads into
Every
the next
breath
word
has a
or
meaning. Every ad lib,
yeah,
something that people just sit in the mic and think, oh yeah, what? He
yeah,
thinks of his ad libs. Like
yeah,
no one does that shit. No one puts the time and effort that he puts into his projects.
exactly.
It's
And I
crazy.
guess that kind of transfers over to what you do because your music's more singing than rapping, obviously. But he's
Mhm.
putting every thought into every single word, and he has to say 100 words. Whereas when you're doing acoustic music, you have less words to say the same amount of meaning. So
Mhm.
that's like an important thing to make sure every single word has an impact.
Meaning,
Yeah,
yep. Yep. The lyrics are the like the main focus of all singing music because you can't really have oh shit. Um, you can't really have a lot of ideas put into it. Like you said, like
hmm,
kind of have to in rap you have the flow and stuff.
yeah,
In singing, I would guess you'd have the melody. You have the melody and the delivery.
hmm,
So you do have kind of flow. That's kind of why I like singing a lot more than I like rapping because you have the added element of the melody which you don't have get in rapping.
yeah,
But in rapping, you can be more aggressive for sure.
yeah,
Emotional, I feel like.
yeah. There's different avenues you can take with rap music that you can't take with other genres.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Um, so you said you listened to Mac DeMarco. Is there anyone else in that kind of like acoustic singing world that you listen to? Is he just the main influence that you pull from?
Mac DeMarco, there's also Bane's World. I fuck with Bane's World. There's also another guy called Polly LePeric. He made a very famous TikTok song that's called Midi Titty. He's pretty good. He produces all of his stuff. He's I've worked with him a few times. Uh, that's pretty much it. Like nothing that comes off to the top of my head, which I mean may say something about me, but it's like I don't know. I don't really listen to a lot of music for how much I make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you put out a lot of stuff. It's very regular, which is nice. Which is as a fan you want. Like as a fan, you don't want to be waiting months and months and months.
That
It's like
is the best thing. I think we should just end the interview right there, bro. Like that's the best thing you could have said because that's what a lot of people, everyone in the industry. I'll say this straight up. Everyone in the industry. Also, we got to wrap this up because
yeah,
one
that's right.
of my homies is over right now. Sorry, my
Okay,
bad. My bad, bro.
it's all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But no, I wish, dude, because so many people in the industry tell me like, oh, you got to release once per month,
yeah,
uh, twice per month, and I'm like, why would I do this to my fans? Like, why would I
yeah,
do this to my fans? I want to post as many times as I want to. I'm
yeah,
paying for the damn just like I'm paying for the damn like subscription to like put my music out on the platforms. why shouldn't I post as many times as I want, you know?
Exactly.
So,
Okay. So we have to sign off then. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
um, extreme misogynist. That's all I
Yeah.
gotta say. Extreme.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Oh man. I don't know if you saw, but I changed the title of misogynist on Spotify.
Did you?
Yeah, you'll see it.
So like, misogynist, this fucking sucks.
Oh my
Um,
god.